It is quite literally days before we are set to travel to Dallas for the DFW G.I. Joe toy show. Super excited about all the amazing stuff that's going to happen this weekend. Most of all, actually, we're super excited about trying some new food places. There's some delicious restaurants out there that we've enjoyed the past 2 years that we've gone to the convention, and we're super excited about trying some awesome barbecue, some great chicken, and just seeing some of these places that we've come to enjoy. The toy show itself, if you've never been, is a fun experience. If you're a toy collector or you enjoy your own collection, it's pretty cool to go and see the vendors, which are about 90% people selling their own old collection, whether it's boxed or used. So it's a great opportunity to pick up stuff that might fill in some gaps in your collection, or to hopefully get some things that you're missing from your collection at a great price. You usually will see some new boxed G.I. Joe classified figures at a pretty good price point. Of course, one of the main booths that we always go for is Valaverse, and we're super excited to pick up their Black Series in hand and in person without having to wait for it to ship out in June. And that's always an expensive trip to that booth because there's so much to pick up. But there's also panels and just meeting different people. You're sure to see some personality that you might recognize from YouTube, from ToyTube, a familiar voice if they're not putting their face on screen, or maybe somebody that you do recognize from their channel. So it's a neat experience if this is something that's familiar to you, if you participate in this hobby. But it can also be a little overwhelming if you go there on your own and you don't have other people that you do know, either through message boards or through the community, because it's kind of hard to share in that experience if you don't have somebody who also shares that enthusiasm. But if that's not the case and you don't have people there that you already know, sometimes it's kind of like being invited to a party that you don't have any friends at. You just keep circling around the convention floor, going in circles, seeing all the cool stuff, but not really having anybody to talk to. One of the fun highlights for me has always been being able to participate in things like the swap meet. Last year was my first time doing so, but on Saturday between 7 and 8 p.m. they were going to host a little area where you can take some of your collection or your customs and maybe trade, swap, or sell with other collectors in a nice, friendly environment. So it's cool to maybe go and sell some piece that you've been working on or some custom that you're very proud of and you want to share with others. I've sold a few things out there that I've worked on. Some of you have seen my 1/18th scale collection of Huey Bell helicopters that are custom. I sold one out last year. And this year I've been working on some customs that involve the Buck from the G.I. Joe Classified Legacy series. Now, this Legacy series from G.I. Joe Classified has given us quite a few things, in particular the Halo jumper that came out before the Special Forces figure. The two figures that we're working with here in these pictures, along with some of the loadout from the Doc figure, who also shared the similar secondary vest that came from that G.I. Joe Legacy series Desert Trooper there with a desert camo scheme. So we're just taking a lot of these bits and pieces, trying to kit bash a different look using the gear from this latest G.I. Joe Legacy Special Forces figure, which seems to currently be peg warming on the shelves at my local Walmart. But of course, we all know that the G.I. Joe Halo jumper ended up on Ross, and before that at an even steeper discount at Ollie's. So a lot of us picked up some of these figures to be able to custom and kit bash. So here we go. We have some extra body parts, which is one of the exciting things about this hobby, which I will say again and again to all the toy makers. If you really want to get your stuff to be popular and to sell, put it at a price point where collectors can purchase enough to experiment with. Sometimes when something is too expensive, it costs too much, you're scared to mess with it. You don't want to touch it until probably years down the road where you're tired of your collection and now you want to do something a little different, and so you start tinkering with the things that you've had laying around. But if you want to cash in now, instead of waiting a decade for collectors to try to find your stuff on the secondary market, try to price your stuff to where it is tempting. Whenever you walk into a Ross or an Ollie's and you see something at an affordable price that doesn't break the bank, that doesn't make you feel guilty for spending money on yourself instead of your family or your home or your loved ones, then it's something you can feel good about. Say, okay, man, I can take $12. Even better if it's a $5.99 deal at Ross, and say I can just take this and use it for custom fodder, make it into something else, use the parts for something else, and it becomes a part of the hobby that many of us enjoy, customizing. We get to take things apart, make something new, create headcanon, and have fun exploring our collection in a different way than just posing them on the shelf, which is great if that's all you want to do. But eventually, as a collector, sometimes you get a little bored, you get a little curious, and you want to try something different. And if you want to be able to sell multiple stuff to people who aren't just straight army building, because there's plenty of us out there who will just buy the exact same figure and gladly display them all standing next to each other on a shelf. But eventually, you want to take some of those things and make them a little bit distinct and unique. And that's where if you can get figures at a lower price, you're more willing to explore that and to try those things. So my advice to all of us, obviously the majority of us have been doing that already and picking up those discounted figures at places like Ross or Ollie's, or sometimes you get lucky at a convention or you find something on a good sale. But so many of us are reaching a point in our journey as collectors where we're almost about to age ourselves out of the hobby. What does that mean? Well, it means that there's only so long that you can squeeze water out of a sponge. There's only so long that you can continue to collect stuff and put things in bins and put those in boxes and store them on shelves and fill up rooms before you start to wonder, why am I doing all of this? And at that point, you're going to realize that the majority of collectors are not getting any younger, and there doesn't seem to be a new generation of collectors coming in to fill the gap, because they really don't care about the same things that we care about. And if you doubt that, ask yourselves how many of you collectors now who collect Valaverse and G.I. Joe Classified and Marvel Legends are actively pursuing your 12-inch collection. I doubt there are a lot. That is to say that before us, there was a generation who loved the 12-inch, who collected that hardcore. And if you go to DFW or other toy shows, you're going to see that part of the community selling off their collection. But after us, there'll be a different group of people collecting a different scale or something different altogether. Who knows what it'll be, but one thing is for sure, it's probably not going to be, in all likelihood, statistically speaking, the same thing that we're collecting. So enjoy it while you can. Make the most of it while you can, but don't get overwhelmed trying to get so much or to collect so much that you lose sight of enjoying that collection while you're able to enjoy it. And to all those toy makers and manufacturers who are just trying to dump so much on our laps at such an exaggerated price point, so many things that are so incredibly and criminally overpriced for what you're selling and for what it's worth, realize that the clock is ticking on your audience, and that I know you're trying to get every nickel and dime out of us that you can before we're gone, but realize that you would also be able to sell a whole lot more figures if you weren't trying to charge us ridiculous prices just for one figure. It's amazing, because how is it possible that the same figure that was $27.99 ends up at some discounted store for $5.99 and still turns a profit? If it's being sold for $5.99, somebody still made a profit. Some of these places are getting greedy, man, and some of that is just making it harder and harder for people to enjoy this hobby, because it's harder and harder to justify spending money at those price points for stuff that you just want to have fun with and maybe tear apart and put back together. Shout out to channels like the Savage Land, who are really having fun with their collection, and you can see them posting up their videos with the pop and swap and just creating something completely different than what's being sold to us on card. We get to take it out the box. We get to make it into our own thing. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's your collection. You enjoy it the way you want to do it. We're super excited to take this road trip to Dallas, to see some familiar faces, to enjoy this hobby, and to, fingers crossed, hopefully enjoy some food that's just as amazing, or if not better, than what we experienced last year. If you're headed down there, we hope to see you, and hope you have a safe travel. If you're missing out, make sure you check out the videos so you can live vicariously through other people's experiences. And until then, enjoy your collection, enjoy yourselves, and keep on keeping on.